the massive arena filled with thousands of alien spectators who came to watch the trial by combat that would decide the fate of Earth itself. Princess Amy stood tall in her golden battle armor, looking down at the human male who barely reached. Her shoulder, she was from the Zephyr race, known across the galaxy as the strongest warriors who had never lost a battle in over 300 years. The human named Jack looked ordinary with brown hair and simple clothes he had volunteered to represent his entire species in this combat trial. When the Zephyr Empire threatened to destroy Earth, Amy laughed as she examined her opponent. This cannot be serious, she thought to herself. The humans must be joking if they think this small, weak creature can defeat me. The crowd roared with excitement as the battle began. Amy drew her plasma sword that glowed bright blue and weighed more than most humans could even lift. She swung the massive weapon toward Jack, expecting to end the fight quickly, but something unexpected happened. Jack moved faster than any creature Amy had ever seen. He dodged her attack and rolled behind her before she could react. Impossible. She whispered, "How can something so small move so quickly?" Jack grabbed a simple steel rod from the weapon rack, something the Zephyr considered primitive and useless. Amy attacked again with her superior strength and advanced technology, but Jack kept moving like water flowing around rocks. The princess began to breathe heavily, which surprised her. She had never felt tired in combat before. Jack waited for the right moment, then struck with the steel rod, hitting Amy's armor at a weak joint. The armor cracked and Amy stumbled backward in shock. No one had ever damaged her battle gear before. The crowd fell silent, watching in disbelief as their greatest warrior struggled against this small human. Amy grew angry and unleashed her full power, moving with incredible speed and strength. But Jack seemed to predict every attack. He used her own momentum against her, grabbing her arm when she struck and throwing her across the arena floor. The princess crashed into the wall and slowly stood up, blood running from a cut on her face. "This is not possible," she said, looking at Jack with new respect. "What are you?" Jack smiled quietly. "I am human," he replied, "and that is enough." Amy realized she had made a terrible mistake by underestimating this creature. She had studied human biology and knew they were weaker than Zephyr in raw strength, but she had not considered their other abilities. Humans had something the Zephyr lacked. They could adapt quickly, think creatively, and never give up even when facing impossible odds. The battle continued for another hour with Amy, using every technique she had learned in decades of training. But Jack kept surprising her with moves she had never seen, tactics that made no sense, yet worked perfectly. Finally, Amy fell to one knee, exhausted and defeated for the first time in her life. She looked up at Jack, who was also tired but still standing strong. "You have won, human," she said with respect. "I was wrong about your species." The crowd erupted in amazement as Jack helped Amy to her feet. The Zephyr had expected an easy victory, but instead learned that humans possessed something more valuable than physical strength. They had determination, intelligence, and the ability to overcome any challenge through pure willpower. Princess Amy stood before her people and declared that Earth would be spared. She had learned that true strength comes not from size or power, but from the spirit that refuses to surrender. Jack became the first human to defeat a Zephyr warrior in combat, and his victory saved his entire planet. But more importantly, he showed the galaxy that humanity deserved respect, not because they were the strongest, but because they never stopped fighting for what they believed in. Amy returned to her homeworld, changed by the experience she had gained, new understanding of what it meant to be truly powerful. She began training with human methods, learning that sometimes the smallest fighter can achieve the greatest victories. The story of the human who defeated the alien warrior princess spread. Across the galaxy, other species began to see humanity in a new light, not as weak creatures to be ignored, but as potential allies with unique gifts. Jack returned to Earth as a hero, but he knew the real victory was not his alone. It belonged to all humans who refused to give up even when facing impossible odds. The bond between Earth and the Zephyr Empire grew stronger over time, built on mutual respect rather than fear. Princess Amy often visited Earth to continue learning from human warriors and teachers. She discovered that humans had spent thousands of years fighting each other, which had made them incredibly skilled in combat. Their bodies might be weaker, but their minds and spirits were forged in constant struggle. The galaxy would Never underestimate humanity again, thanks to one ordinary man who proved that being human was extraordinary.